day I became an American. What does being an American mean to you? Story 1. Congratulations and welcome. There are more than 330 million perfectly valid meanings of being an American. The cool thing is, you get to say what that means to you. Story 2. Congrats and welcome. You earned it and glad you're here and not sure what it really means to be an American. I suppose to me it's exactly what you've just done. It's the opportunity to come here and join us. To be American is to overcome challenges and make your own path. Though I strongly disagree with Ronald Reagan on, well, basically everything. I did like one quote in particular: you can go to Japan to live, but you cannot become Japanese. You could go to France to live and not become a Frenchman. You can go to live in Germany or Turkey, and you won't become a German or a Turk. But anybody from any corner of the world can come to America to live and become an American. I also like what you fly by PC said, above you get to decide what it means to be American. Story 3. I love hearing about how proud and excited immigrants are to become Americans. You always were one. You just finally found your way home. I think my favorite thing about our nation is that we're founded on the idea, speaking very broadly, of freedom from rather than freedom. 2. If you think of human rights as an ocean, the United States, at least in theory, operates on the idea that human liberty is an ocean with islands of limited and specific government powers. Freedom, too, is where you have an ocean of government power with little islands of liberty here and there. I much prefer the former, and I really am very excited to hear how proud you are. Welcome home. Story 4. What makes me proud is 1. The unique take on liberty and the moral issues in government. 2. The independent attitude. 3. The ability to blend cultures, despite the efforts of modern social activists to divide cultures to create their concept of equality. Hopefully you embody all of that. Most legal immigrants and naturalized citizens do. Story 5. Being an American citizen. Just like you, congrats on achieving it. My dad's wife was born in Brazil, but she gained citizenship, just like you. That's what makes America great. Story 6. I love the whole messy, vibrant, passionate tangle of people and ideals that sometimes makes it seem chaotic here. That struggle, as difficult as it seems, is part of what makes America wonderful. We're free to criticize our government, to believe or refuse to believe, to question history, to make noise. We push and pull and fight and argue with each other. Families do that like a family. We have our ridiculous or embarrassing relatives, and sometimes our national Thanksgiving feast dissolves into a Jerry Springer-style giant food fight. But we all keep coming back to the table to try to work it out. That's America. Story 7. We are the source of power, not the government. It's truer here than in any other country. We are the original example, but it requires continued effort, or it is taken away from us. And a great welcome to you, a new power. Story 8. Congratulations. My parents immigrated to the U.S. a few decades ago, and they continue to remind me that this country is a special place. This country is a true melting pot with peoples of all nationalities and backgrounds coming together in search for a better life for themselves and their respective families. Emma Lazarus' poem, The New Colossus, comes to mind. Despite what portrayed in the news, Americans largely agree on the tenets of our democracy, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and overall goals: freedom, security, etc. We just argue in a peaceful, respectful manner on how to achieve those goals. Should we prioritize security at the expense of freedom or vice versa? Or is there a way to compromise, to have a little of both? Lastly, the United States has the most influential economy in the world, with the effects of the USD felt all over the world. It's a diversified, vibrant economy that prioritizes hard work. As a new American, I highly recommend that you continue to learn more about your new home. Whether it's learning more about American history, culture, or even what's going on in the U.S. now. You now have rights, but also increased responsibilities to improve this country in order to form a more perfect union. Guess where I quoted that last bit from? Good luck, and feel free to reach out if you'd like to talk some more. Sorry this went off in a tangent, BTW. I researched and studied a lot about the history of immigration to the U.S., so I love talking about this stuff. Story 9. I'm Chicano, which is American-born with Mexican parents. For me, being American is a mixed bag. The U.S. was a leader in innovative ideas and politics, but other nations have progressed from what we have achieved. Don't get me wrong, we still do progress in some areas, but the demographic that claims patriotism is trying real hard and regressing the nation. The U.S. is a great nation that values civility, individualism, expression, and secularism to an extent. It's a nation for people from all other nations to come here and call it home. Story 10. Born and raised. So to me, it's never been something I thought is special. You're a citizen now. You deserve to tell us what it means to you. Welcome to the States. Story 11. Congrats. The U.S. is lucky to have you. Welcome. To me, Being an American means that I may fundamentally disagree with anyone in the nation and speak freely of my disagreement. I have the right to do so, as does everyone I may disagree with. I can also do things that others disagree with, flying a rainbow flag, denouncing the faith in which I was raised, eating steak with ketchup, etc., within the boundaries of the Constitution. It also means that I must not only respect the rights of others to do things or say things that I don't like, I must actively ensure they continue to have those rights. It isn't always pretty and pleasant, but it's an important part of what being an American is to me. Again, welcome to the U.S. I hope you find here everything good you've dreamed of and more. Story 12, congratulations, and welcome to the American family. Hugs. I'm so glad you are here with us. It is new Americans becoming Americans who keep us renewed, reinvigorated, and reinventing ourselves. The Constitution, to support and defend her, all of her articles and amendment, spirit and letter, from all enemies foreign and domestic, and to bear true faith and allegiance to her, is the unifying spirit that out of many makes one nation. The first peoples are our grandmothers and grandfathers on this continent, and the rest of the world are our parents. As a nation, here, you can bring the best of your mother culture and your mother hearths, and leave the worst behind. Leave behind what held you back and reinvent yourselves as Americans. In the process, please be willing to contribute your own culture's unique and beautiful problem-solving skills, celebrations, food ways, folk ways, spiritual ways, and wisdoms to the American community chest. When we as Americans have a problem to solve, or a challenge to rise to, or a peril to face, we have always turned to this community chest. We have taken problem-solving skills and other tools from the many cultures that became American, put them together in ways that have never been done before, and invented innovative things and ways of doing things that have never been done before. This is our real wealth and our real exceptionalism, and nobody does it like we do. It generally takes about 3 full generations to become full settled in, but that time passes quickly. Try not to lose that new American shine. Remember what it was to be an immigrant, and help others on their way too. While English is our national language, I urge you to keep your mother tongue alive, continue to speak it at home, and to teach it to your children and your GGG grandchildren. Keep it, and then teach it as your contribution to the American experience. Your favorite food dishes from home the same way. Publish a cookbook at some point. Find a place in the country where you want to put down deep roots and become part of that place. Learn the rivers and creeks. Learn the local flora and fauna. If you garden, please contact Baker Creek Seeds and see if they can help you get some of your traditional seed form back home and start growing them out here, and then share them around with your local gardeners. Learn the local history, all of it good and bad, and then write your own chapters in it. Help to clean and preserve the natural world you choose to live in. You're an American now. You are one of us. When we have a problem to solve, or a challenge to rise up to meet, or a peril to face, we put our heads together, and we stick together, because when we do, we are always smarter than the problem. We are always up to any challenge. And we're braver than any peril, because we have each other. Welcome, welcome, welcome. P.S. Don't listen to those of us who are down on ourselves as a country for all the things we've screwed up. Trying and failing and trying again is what we do. It's our American thing. If these problems had been easy, someone else would have managed them by now. Don't let people with bad personal self-esteem who have absorbed toxic shaming and are just parroting it influence you. Story 13, yay. Congrats, the happiness I could sense in your post. Others welcoming replies. The fact that in this country there are millions who are excited to welcome you here with a smile on your face and say make yourself at home is what being an American means to me. I know that not everyone in the States will feel that way towards immigrants, especially those of color, as my family can attest, but that's fine. Let them be grumpy, because there are way more of us who are just so glad you're here. Congrats on your citizenship. If we could celebrate with you in person, I'm sure we would. Story 14, being an American is really just living in America and regarding it as at least one of your homes. Also hope you enjoy it in the great state of Washington. Story 15, seriously, welcome. You're an American now. I'm always happy to find someone that's happy to be a part of our nation. Most of us will welcome you with open arms and consider you to be one of us. Unfortunately, some of us may not be so welcoming, but they're ultimately a minority and a slight stain on this country's necktie, more than anything, so to speak, and don't deserve a moment of your time. We're happy to have you. Story 16, welcome home. One of the best things about being an American is that people like you can come here and join us and be just as American as any of us who were born here. You can keep the parts of your culture that you want, pick up the parts of ours that you want, and that makes us all a little bit better. Story 17, being an American is hating China and eating hamburgers for me. The stereotypes don't lie. Although, the real part of being an American is that being an American can be anything you want if you try hard enough. Welcome to the States. Story 18, I'm happy that you're here. Personally, being American simply means I was born within U.S. borders. As I've gotten older, I come to find out that all the ideals America was founded on have not been realized or have been severely tainted. Therefore, being American no longer means anything significant to me. I'm hoping you can be a part of the force that will change that. Story 19, mainly. I just want to say congratulations. The predominant theme in other comments has been about freedom, especially freedom of speech. And there's a lot of your answer. That's the best part of being an American, even when it gets a little hard to watch. Because you're from Iraq, I'm sure you have dealt with people saying unfortunate things to you. Another core value of the U.S. is to welcome immigrants. From time to time, that value seems to falter a bit, and unfortunately, we're in one of those times, but I believe we're coming out of it. In ancient Rome, the citizenship that was acquired was never considered quite as good as the citizenship by birth, but I believe many Americans view it the opposite way. You have proven yourself individually in a way that those of us who were born here have not. Never forget that, even if someone gives you a hard time. Story 20, freedom to live your life however you want provided you're not hurting anyone else. The second comes from an old joke by Ronald Reagan. An American and a Russian are sitting in a bar, arguing over whose country was better. The American argues, see, in America, I am free to do whatever I want. If I wanted to, I could walk right into the White House, slam my fist on the president's desk, and say, Mr. President, I don't like the way you're running our country. The Russian then said, I can do the same thing. Really, you can? Asked the American. Yes, continues the Russian. If I wanted to, I could walk right into the Kremlin, slam my fist on the General Secretary's office, and say, Mr. General Secretary, I don't like the way President Reagan is running his country. Story 21, firstly, congratulations. I'm an American by birth, and my understanding of what being a citizen means has evolved greatly over my lifetime, as I expect is true for many others. I 26F think it means that I am partially responsible for the direction that my country takes, as are all other citizens. I believe in freedom of personal expression, and I value the individual's right to pursue their own agenda as long as it does not interfere with the ability of others to do the same. I highly value the personal freedoms we are entitled to by our Constitution, and I think it is important above all else for our citizens to hold an interest in preserving our rights. I may not agree with everyone's opinions or how they express themselves, but they are free to do and say what they will, because any attempt to silence one citizen without proper cause is an attack on all of our rights. I think I tend to be protective of the people, even those who I don't necessarily like, because they're in the same position as myself in our society. We all have the same interest in self-preservation, which over time the federal government can and will begin to chip away at if we don't continue to do so. I think to question authoritative reasoning is the foundation of the nation and is combined into American DNA. All in all, I think to be a citizen of the United States is to have power to challenge our government when necessary and protect ourselves and our neighbors from any threat to our sovereignty. Welcome. Story 22, congrats, and welcome. So glad you made it here. Sorry about the process. It's unnecessarily hard. Now that you're here, you can help fix it. Agreeing with other comments, you worked for it. You earned it. What does being an American mean to you? I think your answer has got to carry more weight than mine. I just got it for free at birth. That being said, to me, being an American means liberty, a more perfect union, e pluribus unum, and mixing everything good, true, and human about the world all in one big, crazy, tasty salad or melting pot. If you prefer, also, Americans are born everywhere, all over the world. It just takes more time and effort for some of them to come home. I want to be a part of whatever club has that true for them. Welcome home, 3. Story 23, not really anything in particular. That is kind of the beauty of it. The entire point of the USA is the massive variety of cultures, ideologies, religions, lifestyles, etc. It's quite literally a salad bowl. Story 24, congratulations. I am proud to be an American because it's the country where you have the greatest ability to affect change in both your own personal life and in the running of your countess to counticity, and that folks like you can work to become citizens and fellow Americans. Important by saying it's the country where you have the greatest ability. That's exactly what that means. The greatest ability. I did not say it's the only country where you can, which seems to be a common absurd interpretation of pro-American statements like that. Story 25, a lot of us take being American for granted. Even if things aren't so great in the country right now, you sound a lot more excited to be here than many of us. And that makes me extremely happy. I'm proud that we can make people have hope. Story 26, the fact that I live in a country some people will try to get to is amazing for me. I see new people in America. Just as American as the ones born here, we are a country of immigrants after all. Story 27, it's a weird situation. It's hard to know anything about your birth country until you see the rest of the world and talk to the people you are visiting. If you stay in one place and don't communicate with the outside world directly, you really don't have the ability to model an accurate perception, and it's difficult to place your situation in a comprehensive hierarchy. Anyway, I have some deep gratitude for the people who come to this country and make it an excellent place to live. Patriotism is born from gratitude, and gratitude is cultivated from compassion in the face of hardship. Most people come to this country to escape true hardships, and it's rare that the people born here have ever seen a hardship without possibility of escape. Story 28, Assalamu alaikum. I'm overjoyed for you. I'm proud of America because of people like you, the story of people coming from all over the world and making their dreams in here. Also, because of how our voices have such an immediate impact in this country. We do matter in America. I love how majority of Americans love America. That's actually unique here. Being an American is everything to me. Story 29, congrats and welcome. Being an American means having the duty and honor to improve the most powerful country in the history of the world for the good of all. Story 30, if anything, you're more American than the rest of us who were born here. Welcome. Happy to have you. I think that is my favorite part about being American. People bringing their cultures here from all over the world, melding together and creating a new, weird hybrid culture. Story 31 for me. It's because it's familiar and I grew up here, feels like home, a place I can always come back to, and just be if you come to feel that in some way. I think that makes you American. Growing up here is just the easiest method to feel that way about it for most people. As someone who wants to travel the world, expats always fascinated me. How they have to learn to adapt to a new environment, especially one with a different language or culture, and try to make the unfamiliar familiar is such a beautiful form of change and love to me. I may live abroad for a few years or even decide to become an expat somewhere, but that diving into a foreign place and making it your home is as exciting as it is scary, and it's such a beautiful process. Congrats on your citizenship and welcome home. Story 32, congratulations. It was a long and at times stressful process, I'm sure. Good for you for sticking with it. Fellow American, I like to think I'm patriotic in my own way. I like being an American. I feel an affinity towards other Americans from our shared culture and history. I feel proud when another American does something great, and I hope my country is successful. I have traveled pretty extensively around the world, and I really like experiencing other countries and cultures, but I can't imagine living anywhere but here. Story 33, congrats on doing it the right way. That's awesome. Nobody in this world deserves to be an American more than people like you. Ignore the self-hatred for people on the internet. America is awesome. They're blessed they get to cry about it so much. In China, they just run you over with tanks. Story 34, to me, it means being able to work for a good life without the persecution that my ancestors survived in Europe. It also means having the responsibility to maintain our democratic norms and institutions so that the country stays that way. Story 35, as an American, I'm proud to live in a country where you can truly meet people from all around the world. Not many places are really like that. I live in the Midwest, but there are still thousands of immigrants and scholars in my city who I learn from and gain a broader worldview from. I love that America really isn't so homogenous in a lot of places, and everyone can really come together from all over the world. I don't love everything about America, but that is one thing that I really appreciate. Story 36, I'm probably raining on everyone's parade, but after 9/11 America has strayed so far from its stated ideals. I was proud of the country I lived in before that. Story 37, congratulations. Now go get yourself a beer and some barbecue and go to a shooting range. Also go hiking in National Park and admire the beauty your tax dollars are partially going towards. Finally, when July 4th rolls around, get some friends together for a cookout or Memorial Day if you want a closer holiday. Story 38, people like you make me proud to be an American. I am the daughter and wife of immigrants, and the integrity, ambition, and optimism that they have makes me truly appreciate being born in this country. Our country has a lot of issues, but I'm so grateful that every resident has the right to voice their opinions and fight against these issues. To me, being an American means loving this country enough to work constantly to improve it so that every resident has the opportunity to live up to their fullest potential. Congratulations. Story 39, grats. I think what makes one proud to be an American and what being an American means are two very different things. I am proud to be an American when we do something for the benefit of everyone. So, not much recently, but what it means to be American is entirely up to you. You are one, perhaps one answer would be to have a horror story with either the healthcare or insurance system. Story 40. Welcome to our country. We're all Americans together, no matter when you got here or where you came from. Some of my family came in the 1600s and others later, mostly from Europe. We all enjoy the freedom to choose where we live, what to believe in, the opportunity to help one another. May you prosper and find your new citizenship everything you hoped for. Story 41. It is absolutely possible to start from nothing and in a single generation really make it, completely transforming the destiny of your entire family. Story 42. Yay! Now you too can go on Twitter and have a malformed opinion and overly criticize things nobody actually cares about until yesterday. You can also enjoy hot wings, watching awful television shows, and enjoying whatever they're calling music these days. But don't you worry, everything's fine. Your government is in control of spying on everyone and taking their money. Story 43. There's too many things in this country, so it's difficult to choose what specifically makes me proud. Personally, as long as you have a little stamp and papers, you're just as American as anyone born here. Story 44. According to stereotypes, to eat hamburgers, not to jump the queue, not to bully, help each other. Yes, I have never been to America. I live in Russia. Sorry if it is wrong. Story 45. To me, being an American means welcoming you with open arms and congratulating you on your hard work on becoming a citizen. Unlike other countries that are hyper-ethno-nationalist, you're always welcome here. Story 46. All the public land in the western states and the wide variety of high-quality food from different cultures. To know what I'd do without quality Mexican, Venezuelan, Korean, and Vietnamese food all in one place. Story 47. Congrats from what I've seen in my life. Naturalized Americans are often more proud to be Americans than those born into it. And there's plenty to be proud of. Even if there's plenty of things that need work, it's like you bought a house knowing it a fixer-upper, you're proud of the house, even though you've got work to do to make it better. And work on it we should. I think that's a common theme in Americans, that generally there's a belief that if you work at it, you can make it better, no matter what better means to you. There's a belief that it can be achieved. I've seen a resignation in people from some of the other countries I've been to. They might expect the government to, and there's nothing to be done or something. Not so here. Most people say the government sucks. Pretty true anywhere, I think, except maybe Denmark. Danes are weird, but they also have plenty of thoughts on how it might be made better. TLDR, Americans make America. I wanted to make a joke about football or something, but then this came to mind. Story 48. To me, being an American means many things on different levels, and people have already said so many good answers in here. I'm particularly a fan of the idea of making it what you want it to be. Something you'll add to that thoy involves the famous and disputed American dream. You've come here seeking whatever you have sought, in some form a better life for you or your family. Make it, work hard and get that for yourself. And then look to your community, the people and institutions that helped make all that possible, and go make it possible for others too. I feel many Americans find that the whole individualism that's popular in our culture means making oneself an island. But that's just impractical. Be yourself, an individual, but never forget your roots and your community. The two most American things one can do, in my opinion, are to achieve their dream, then turn around and help someone else achieve theirs too. Happy to have you as one of us. Best of luck. Story 49. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Fellow American, I've attended 2 naturalization ceremonies, and they're indeed emotional. I had tears in my eyes also. Story 50. It's hard to explain, but it's more than just living here. Americans and American culture is a list of ideals like freedom, liberty, and pride to be part of this nation and everything it stands for. It's a bit nationalistic, yeah, but it's also true that's a short summary of American culture. It's the pride of our history and values and the ideals of how a nation should work and function. Story 51. Honestly, it just means that I was born here. To some people who never left their hometowns, it means moving to a new state was much easier than it would have been if I had lived somewhere else. It means there are a lot of shitty things about the U.S., a lot of good things about it. I'd love to hear what it means to you, OP. You studied and worked to have this. You wanted this enough to give up or split citizenship with another land. That's pretty dope. Story 52. Congrats. So stoked for you. The beauty of being American is that it means so many different things to people. To me, it means being myself and relying on myself to get it done. Most of us take we the people pretty seriously and apply that to our day-to-day lives. I can be anything I want, but I'm the one who has to put in the work for it. As a country, we're sort of the epitome of F you. I do what I want, and we're the ones who decide how much work and sacrifice to put into it. Story 53. Honestly, what truly makes me feel proud as an American is people like you, people that come to this country bursting with love, with an energetic passion to live the American dream, is what makes me proud. as famous American country singer John Denver said, "I'm coming home to a place I'd never been before." Story 54 to me, I'm still proud that despite everyone trying to say otherwise, America is still the land of opportunity. You can achieve amazing things here if you have the discipline and will to work hard and focus on your goals. The director of the current NASA rover mission immigrated to America with 300 of her name, barely speaking English. Some of the wealthiest people in the country are first and second generation immigrants who understand that hard work does pay off if you're smart about it. Story 55, what does being an American mean to me? Wanted to live here, having a dream of the future, having huge goals to work towards. So, someone working towards their citizenship is already an American. It's just not formalized yet. Once it's formalized, though, nobody gets to say you're not American. Story 56, we have all been handed a great country, whether born or brought into it, with amazing people. America is not perfect, but you, me, and everyone else working towards equality, liberty, and the greater good is what we're all about. Congrats on becoming an American citizen. Story 57, I'm a 50-year-old lady. I have 3 grown kids and 2 grandchildren. I've made more mistakes than most people I know. Drug addiction, jail, felonies, mental illness, the list goes on. America seems like the place of second chances to me. If there's one thing this country has provided me, it's always been the chance to get it right, to start over, to keep moving forward. Happy Naturalization Day. Story 58, I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy, in a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies. The official American's creed, this is the way. Story 59, welcome. Fellow American, I'll answer your question in 2 parts. Now you tell me what it means to you. You worked so hard to make it happen. You even did it with extra difficulty settings. B, to me, being an American means that no matter what, we're going to try to do better. For our entire history, that's what we've collectively done, for better and for worse. We've not always been right, and heck, we've gotten a lot wrong. But every day, I say, how can I be better than the day before? Story 60, congratulations. Welcome to the U.S. I hope you have a happy life. What it means to me to be an American, it means most of all that we help other people. Story 61, congratulations. I'm happy for you, and I love hearing the story of immigrants achieving their American dream. To me, being an American is something that everyone experiences individually. I appreciate the fact that our nation is one that is represented by people from all walks of life. You could be any type of person in this country, and you're still equally as American as the next guy or girl. Welcome to the U.S. Story 62, the best version of America finds value in what makes us different. New citizens like you breathe more life into the U.S. Whenever you join us, ignore negative people who say the opposite. I also find that daily life, art, and politics are all closely intertwined in the U.S. Story 63, first off, congratulations. It's an arduous process, or so I've heard, but I'm happy you achieved your dream. Welcome to our funky, weird, messy American family. As for me, I am truly grateful to be born in a developed and peaceful, not always, but mostly place. I take great pride in my city of New Orleans. She has given me far more than I deserve. Story 64, congratulations, and welcome home. The thing that makes me most proud is that people such as yourself can and do choose to become Americans. You, my fellow American, make me proud to be an American. Story 65, I love being American. I love having brothers serving in the military, having the freedom that many people don't have, and celebrating all of it on the 4th of July every year. Story 66, welcome to the best country on the planet. Travel around our great land, and you will see why. So many interesting places, and you never have to leave the country. Story 67, congrats. I'm sure it's been a tough journey. As many of the comments said, you get to decide what it means for you. For me, it's being able to enjoy my Jewish heritage, culture, and religion, being able to work hard not only to improve myself, but the country that I live in, and being able to live in a giant melting pot of different peoples, cultures, religions, and more. It's the fact that there's no one American dream or American experience that makes this country great. Story 68, respect for your capabilities and those of others. Independence, optimism, and tenacity. Can-do-itiveness, ambition, and spirited competition. Above all, pride and the drive to forge your own path. Reading the Bill of Rights, and listening to Whitney Houston's Star-Spangled Banner performance is a great place to start. Welcome, brother. Make the most of it. Story 69 It means just being me and doing what I think is best for myself with all available options. Though I'm not the most patriotic, it's a lot different to earn your citizenship rather than be born in it. I would imagine it's similar to being born in another first world country without thinking about moving. Story 70 As a natural-born citizen, whose most recent immigrant ancestor was my great-grandmother, I always viewed being an American as being willing to accept anyone and judge them on their character rather than their ethnicity, religion, gender, orientation, etc. This nation was built on immigration, and while we haven't always lived up to the promise that all were created equal, we have slowly made progress to it over time. Story 71 Congratulations. I am an American, and I took it for granted until I got married to an immigrant divorced. But my amazing husband now is the son of an immigrant. Now I thank my lucky stars every day that I was born here. America means to me having the privilege to go to school without worrying about someone attacking me, or even my school being destroyed. Saw a picture in Malaysia recently. Students were studying in the mud because their school was obliterated, not fearing for my life. Every time I step outside, watching with satisfaction people protesting what they feel is wrong and being able to do it, whether you agree with them or not, is awesome. People get fired up. They care, and they're able to speak their mind, saying what I want to say about the government without fear of being arrested, or worse, saying what I want to say responsibly in general, watching the government with suspicion, but also knowing that we have checks and balances, and if something like what happened in Venezuela happened here, we have the Second Amendment, reading what I want to read and thinking what I want to think, being grateful for our military, being grateful for my incredible fellow citizens. They are good people. Well, most of them. There are many more, but those are some. Again, congratulations. Many Americans are oblivious to how lucky they are. As another person posted here, the passion and excitement of new American citizens, immigrants, are what fuels this country. We are all immigrants, and our ancestors drove this country to success. You are following a long line of amazing leaders. Story 72 Congratulations. Being an American, to me, means I have the freedom to question everything. I don't need to settle for that's how it is, ever. I can always ask, but why? I feel it means I've got a couple 100 million people behind me, who, even though they might forget sometimes, will absolutely stand up for my right as an American to confront something that I do not understand, to not allow an injustice to persist. I hope your day is fantastic, my fellow American.